Hello guys, can you hear me? Okay, I think you guys can hear me. Okay. All right, guys. My name is Lamarana. Welcome back to the Halad Africa show. As you guys can see from the topic of discussion today, I want to engage my subscribers and Gambians, for that matter, to discuss about the rising crime rates in the Gambia. Of late, especially in 2020, we've seen the rising crime rates, which I think should be a concern for every Gambian and also for other people who are living in the Gambia, because crime knows no boundaries and it should be a national concern in the sense that we cannot be safe unless everyone is safe. So therefore, when people are complaining about the rising crime rates, I think it should be the responsibility of all Gambians to make sure that we discuss this issue and we find ways to bring it to an end. And that is my purpose here today. I just want to be a facilitator, and you guys can join me in the discussion later to give me your opinion as to what you think are the reasons why we're having this rise in crime in the Gambia. But first, what I'm going to do is I'll try to give you my opinion about why I think we're having a rise in crime rates in the Gambia, and perhaps also to give you some of the solutions that I think if we should adopt as a nation, we can at least bring this menace to an end. If not, then reduce it significantly. What is security? I think that is the first thing that we need to ask ourselves. Security is basically a state of feeling safe, protected from any danger or threats. Now, one might want to ask yourself, is that the situation right now in the Gambia? Are people safe? Are people protected? Are our properties protected? I think the obvious answer is no. Especially in this 2021, you check social media, all you see is reports of crime taking place in the Gambia. And I think the social media has really helped in bringing out some of this menace that we have in the country. And I must say that because of what citizens are doing on the social media, it has forced the government of the Gambia to take certain drastic measures to make sure that they can bring security to the people. But one might want to also ask, why are we having all these issues? We know that the coronavirus that happened last year devastated many families, many people all over the world. And as a result, it has brought unforeseeable financial challenge to many people around the world. And Gambia is no exception. Our second most revenue earner in the Gambia is our tourism sector. This sector itself hires hundreds of Gambians, if not thousands. And we saw one of those very sectors that has been hit the hardest has been the hospitality industry, the travel industry. And because of the COVID, the tourism sector in the Gambia is basically dead for the past 1 year. So we have a lot of challenges that people are going through as individuals, as families. So this in turn also force people to perhaps take the law into their own hands. Because when you look at crime, you can explain it from using certain theories like string theory. If people are forced, if people have no option, they have no way of making a living for themselves or their families, most likely they're going to resort to crime. I'm not saying this to justify people committing crime because of the economic hardship that they're going through. But it is one theory to explain why we're having this rise in crime rates in the Gambia. The other theory to explain why we're having rising crime rates in the Gambia could be social learning theory, because we know that we all live in communities, and there is a popular saying that they say, tell me who your friend is and I tell you who you are. So because of peer influence, peer pressure, people, the way they socialize in our communities, if they are dealing with people who are criminals, it's likely that they will learn some of these traits, bad traits from criminals, and it becomes part of their lifestyle, because crime sometimes can be normalized for certain people. They see nothing wrong in engaging in defiant behavior, which could be contrary to either the law or the norms and values of our society. So these are reasons why I think, or these are reasons that explain why we're having high crime rates in the Gambia. But who is the responsible authority to make sure that we have security in the Gambia? That is solely the responsibility of the government of the Gambia, and by extension, the police, because the police is the institution that is responsible for internal security in the Gambia. So therefore, as citizens living in the Gambia, we should be feeling safe, protected, and secure, not just only in our personhood, but also anything that we possess, our belongings, our assets. So one might want to ask, why is it that people are not feeling safe? Why is it that we're having all this increase in crime? There has been reports of murder, there have been reports of rape, there has been reports of robberies, there have been reports of breaking and entering, and sometimes this ends in fatalities, because people have to feel safe first. For instance, when you build your own home, you have multiple layers of security that you put in place. You have a main gate, which serves as a source of as a security parameter. You build your own house, you make sure you have multiple doors, you have CCTV cameras everywhere, because you want to feel safe and secure. I wouldn't want to sleep in a house that doesn't have a door, or in a compound that doesn't have a gate. So the police And the government of the Gambia should serve as the primary custodians of executing security and peace in the Gambia. But we're not saying that the police are not doing a very good job. I know that they have certain constraints, and we would want to highlight some of those constraints here. I believe that majority of our security personnel have a very good intention. They love the Gambia. They're sacrificing their lives to make sure that we're protected. But they cannot do this job alone. They need the support of everyone. So the question now is, what is it that we can do as citizens to help in the fight against these crimes that are taking place in the Gambia? Because as a citizen, a good citizen, you should ask yourself, what is it that I can do for my country? And the first thing is to be a law-abiding citizen. Because as citizens, we have to allow ourselves to be governed. We have a social contract with the government of the Gambia that we will be law-abiding citizens. We are not going to take the law into our own hands. So if that is the case, we should strive very hard to make sure we do that to the best of our ability. And the first thing you can do is desist from committing crimes. Speak out when you see people committing crimes. Stop harboring criminals. Help the police in the execution of their duties. Don't obstruct their work. But today, most Gambians are not respecting our law enforcement officers. And it's like the table has turned. In those days, under the former regime, people were saying the security forces are not respecting our fundamental human rights as citizens of the Gambia. They will abuse you. They will maltreat you. They will torture you once you have an encounter with them. But because of the newfound democracy that we have in the Gambia, police are trying to do everything by the book. They're following the rules of law. They're respecting our fundamental human rights as citizens. But I think most of the Gambians don't understand this newfound democracy, because we believe that when we say democracy, you're free to do anything that you want to do. We are a government, we are a country, we are a sovereign state. There are rules and regulations that govern a country. So we have to make sure that we respect those rules and regulations. But lately is definitely concerning, is sad, is pathetic to know that a country that used to be known for its peace and stability is, losing that title. Gambia used to be considered the safest country in Africa. Even tourists who come to the Gambia, they will tell you the Gambia, no problem. But from 2016 coming to now, why are we having all of these issues in our country? Is it that we are calling for something else that we don't want to see in our country? I want to feel safe. I want to go out in the middle of the night at any time, at any point, without fearing for my life. But it's very easy for us to stand beside and then keep blaming the police to say that they are not doing their job, when in fact the police are doing everything they can to make sure that the Gambia is safe. But they cannot do it alone. We have to help them. We know that the police department is not fully funded. Our country is a developing country, it's a poor country. Most of the times we get help from the outside world to even pay for certain things. So if we have such constraints, what we can do is to manage the little resources that we have to help our police to police the Gambia. But the government also has a responsibility here. We know that you have challenges, but please invest in the security of the country, because a country that is not secure can never develop. Because we need investors to come into the Gambia to invest. And there are certain key factors that investors will look at first. Is one of them is is the country safe? Do we have an independent judiciary? Do we have rule of law? So if we don't have these things in place, it's going to be difficult for us to attract foreign investors to come to our country and then help us. So I think one thing that we can do would be to allow the police to do their job, and the way we can do that is to first respect them. Let us respect what they're doing. The job they're doing is very risky, and they are not even getting paid the way they should. The police are not motivated. This is one of the problems. And someone told me from 2016 to date, there hasn't been any recruitment for the police, the military, and other sister security forces in the Gambia. So you find out that there is a huge gap when it comes to personnel. So the very few that we have, I think we should help them in all ways possible so that they can do their work properly. We're talking about security sector reform in the Gambia. And for me personally, I don't think the government has done a good job in making sure that that goal is attained. I think what the government of the Gambia is trying to do is to mortgage our security in the hands of those countries surrounding us, like the economic forces in the Gambia. And I don't think they will be able to help us. We have to entrust our security agencies. We have to believe in them. We have to empower them to know, for them to know that they can do this. We have to show the commitment. The government of the Gambia has to show the commitment that they are behind our security services. When you make a call in the Gambia for police to intervene, most of the times it's difficult even to get through. When you get through, they will tell you either they don't have a car, or even if they have a car, they will tell you they don't have fuel. So timely intervention on the part of the police is also a huge problem. They have issues with mobility. They have issues with resources. In the West, let's say in the United States of America, they have a 911, an emergency hotline, wherein anybody who is in distress, you can easily call and get help. We don't have that in the Gambia. And for this reason, there are many people who die who could have been saved if we have an emergency hotline to help people who are going through difficulty. So, as a people, as a government, I think there is so much that we can do. So, I am going to put in the link here so that I can allow people to come in. I mean, if you want to join the discussion, you can click on that link and I will allow you to share your opinion with the people. Okay. Rahman Bojan says misplaced priorities from the step. Yes, definitely that is something that we are facing because today instead of prioritizing institutional reforms in the Gambia, the present government is very busy trying to cement their hold onto power. And I think this was the first mistake that we did in 2016. The current government should have been, yeah, the current government, yeah, the current government should have just concentrated on making sure that we correct the wrongs of the past and bring in institutional reforms. That way, we can have what we want in our country, the new Gambia, because we don't want to continue the same system that we had for the past 22 years, wherein people's rights were not respected. There were state perpetrated crimes taking place in the form of misplaced persons, murder and rape, torture. We've all seen what is happening at the TRRC, this very little country called the Gambia, which is known for their peace and stability. Sometimes you hear some of these stories, you wonder, did this really happen in the Gambia? So this was a problem. And the only way we can correct it is we have to make sure we institute reforms across the board. But when we are not doing that, it's like we want the old system to come back. You have to understand that people who don't learn from history, they are bound to repeat history. So security should be the first priority of the government of the Gambia. We can say anything that we want to say about the former president of the Gambia, but he made sure that the Gambia is secure. People could go about their business without fearing for anything. Today we are having democracy, we are having freedom, we are having rule of law, but people are not safe. Because there is lack of security. So the government has to invest in security. They have to take security very importantly. I have Afka. Do you want to join? Hello?
Exactly. Are you getting me?
Yes, I can get you. Yes, go ahead.
Jere Benakana.
I'm fine, brother.
How's your day?
My day is going good, my brother.
Exactly. Also, because even though my first join, I was given like through my apps, I supposed to make sure that my ad blocks, I supposed to accept everything because every time this laptop is giving me ad blocks problem.
Okay, okay,
Joining some other social media things.
okay,
So that's why my first join it was like blocked out.
okay.
Then the but thanks that I have already made it in your this conversation, very important conversation in something which you know that right now, yeah, people or like people now they're supposed to look at security, which you know is something which you know is very important for each and every one of us. And first of all, I just want to give greetings and then introduction. My name is Ibrahima. I'm from the Gambia, currently now living in Austria, and I just first want to give my introduction that way.
Thank you. So, what do you have to say about the state of our security in the Gambia?
Actually, this current issues right now going on is something which you know you're supposed to raise on, and if you are raising it, it's not something which you know we should just raise on and then leave it on the platform and say that okay, it is already been raised, so let us watch or with something which you know that people supposed to talk about because it is really terrible the way it has been going because the Gambia now we should be thinking of where is Gambia now heading to. Where Gambia is heading to, it is a big question we should be asking ourselves. Where are we going to now? Because we are just talking about the present, but the question is supposed to be where are we going to right now? Because the state of security, this security issue there, because now it is really viral in not to say only in the media because me nowadays my family will be if I'll be talking with family they'll be telling me even them right now they'll be going out to the market but they must be telling the kids let them not live at home but like how so now they still be taking now their own kids as now guardmans as security guards for the compound just that is showing that they are scared of leaving the home back and then going to the market for their for the lunch or for the dinner to go for the market to go and lunch what they are gonna cook for the day. But at the same time, they are scared of what they are leaving behind. So they are not proud of what they are going to look for the family. Instead of being proud of that, but at the same time, in addition, they are scared of what they are leaving behind. So this we are at a position whereby right now it's not only putting this thing on the agenda and then say let us now wait for the government for them to take a move. So this is something which you know putting it there and then we following it up, trying to see it's not to try to, until we see a solution out of it, until the solution come out, then we move ahead. You know that okay, now the solution is already there. Then we check on the solution whether the solution match on what we are looking for, and this the exact solution, or it's only one solution or two solutions. These are enough for us. Until you know that okay, now we have already get the enough solution for it. Then we start to count ahead what we are looking for. But actually, it's really disgusting because how can a person be in a position whereby you can be just trying to check your future, but the things you are leaving behind, it is just like no, you have been scared of it. Like you work for yesterday, so like tomorrow, so you are pursuing tomorrow, but like you are scared of what you left, what you get yesterday. The things you got yesterday, it is something still now which are already like you have it in your back of your mind that it is already a danger. But that's not supposed to be the case as a person who is saying that okay, we have already voted for people who are going to do something for us. We already have, like, we already got some promises who we know that we put on other people. We have already have on people who we're gonna rely on to, like for the things we have already worked for yesterday. So like we put them there, so whereby the things we worked for yesterday, it could be really well protected, and it could be there until the day it's gonna be needed, and until, or for the people who gonna make sure that they're gonna able to use it until they come, the thing's gonna stay there. But that being the case, still now it is being a state whereby right now, even like we are working, we are just doing, we are trying to, yeah, overcome and then trying to build ahead. But still, but it's at this position, at this juncture, it's just showing that our works right now, what we are working and then moving ahead, still now we are wondering, we are just trying to have stress, we are just having stress about all those kind of things. So how is it going to change? How are we going to make sure that all those kind of things we have worked for, it's going to be in a safe hand, and all those people we trusted, they're going to secure all those things. We left it, as I told you, like my family, they normally say, as told my younger ones, let them stay at home, let them not even leave the compound gate. That means because they are scared of what they are living inside the compound. So that means right now they just wanna make sure that those kids supposed to protect those things inside the compound until they know that now if they are back at home, so they're gonna let the kids to know that okay, these are the things they are in need of. These are the things in the compound which they are in need of. But as far as they are outside, they wanna make sure that okay, they are outside, they are going to pursue some other things for them tomorrow or for the day or for the future, but they should protect at home. And like for
Okay.
example, we already know like for the kids they're supposed to go now for nowadays, like we normally said okay, we normally put our kids in dara. We normally schools there is mornings and afternoon. So like how about if a family is going outside work and you want to leave your kids at home now to protect your things at home. So how you are not there, you are pursuing for the future. So how are those kids also gonna able to follow up all those kind of things they are doing during their daily duties, like going to Dara or going to afternoon schools if they are going for the afternoons,
Okay.
and the families they are going for work outside.
Yeah. Thank you very much. I think your points are well um, stated, and I am going to see whether I can. I think Gum Global TV is trying to come in, but I'm going to try to. This guy raised some questions here. That is black magic. Do you think that there is a link between the erosion of the Gambian culture to the rise in crime? If so, in what way? In what way is the Gambian culture being eroded? Can you hear me? Um, okay, Gambia Global TV.
Hello? Hello?
Yes, yes. Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah. Yeah, I can hear you, brother.
All right, go
How are you
ahead.
guys?
We're doing good.
Yeah, yeah, I'm just saying thank you very much for this program and also to your listeners.
Thank you.
Yeah, this issue is very important right now. Like the other guy was saying, Gam Africa. Where are we heading? We have to ask ourselves, where are we going? Right now, what is the situation? What are the statistics? We have to know because we don't have the statistics. I listened to a program on one of the TV stations, QTV, which happened just a few days ago. You can go and check it.
Okay.
It was in local languages in Wolof. And there were issues which were raised. The police couldn't answer. Because when we are talking about security, when we are talking about crime, we have to know what used to be the crime rate in the Gambia and what type of crimes we used to have. Because right now things have changed. The kind of crime that we used to see 20 years ago, 15 years ago, and the crimes that we are seeing now, they are completely different. We never had armed robbery. Did we ever heard that there were armed robbery in the Gambia? Organized crime. These are organized. These are people coming into the country. Our borders are open. People are coming left, right, and center. We don't know. There is no record, proper records. And these people that comes, they are organizing white collar crimes. All this that we hear scamming, they are crimes. Because they are organized. You go to these banks, foreign banks, all coming. So the type of crime we are seeing now is completely different from what we used to. These criminals, they can go out. They work with the police. You can see even ex-police officers. How do they have access to gun? There was this guy, the garage owner, who was issued with a license to bring gun into the country. How can we give somebody like that a license to be selling hunting guns? That is another problem. And there are so many different types of crime. There is rape. Rape is all another issue that we have. We don't used to hear it that much. And now, on top of that, we are having armed robberies. Because to do an armed robbery, it has to be very organized. If you see what happened in old Joshua, those guys, how do they have access? They must have studied. They must have got inside intelligence. Because those kind of crimes, they don't just happen overnight. These people must have studied every, inside and out. They might even get an insider in there. And mostly these kind of crimes, they are organized by foreigners. Because we know that Gambians are not that sophisticated. The kind of crime we used to know is pickpocketing. That you see around the tourist area, bombing, break-ins. That's where the kind of crime we used to get. And then everybody will be like, eh, Sacha ibari nansi dekabi, funny, tapale nang mafi. These were the small things we used to know. So when we are talking about crime, we have to look it from different aspects, from the political point of view. Do they have the political view? Is it there? The political will is not there. What are the National Assembly doing? Are they bringing new laws that are up to date with this digital age? Because right now we are living in digital age. Like the other guy is saying, where are we heading? Where are we heading is we are heading towards internet age. Everything is going to be happening online and more people are coming. As we open our border, these automatic citizenships, people are allowed, okay, let's allow the Gambia to give citizenship to other people coming. You will be having people from Jamaica. I'm not saying Jamaicans are bad. There are a lot of Jamaicans. We were influenced by Jamaicans' music. Everybody knows that. Even our moms, our families, even I will say our imams, they know reggae music. Everybody knows in Gambia, then buga reggae.
Yeah,
Reggae music is in.
I think what we can do is we can talk in generality without like naming countries and
Yeah, that's
individuals
what I
that
don't
way.
want to do.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, that's what
yes.
I don't want to
Because
do. That's what I'm
what
saying.
I'm trying to do here is we have a problem in the Gambia, and I'm not going to squarely put
Yeah,
the
specific.
blame on just foreigners.
Yeah.
I think if there is anyone to be blamed, it has to be we the Gambians, because the security of the Gambia should be in the hands of the Gambians.
Yes.
Because
It should
first,
be on the hand of, but
yes,
coming to that, like you said, it should be on the hand of Gambian. But what kind of a security apparatus do we have? How sophisticated are they? Because we know that the police don't even have vehicles. I myself, I've been to Gambia about a year ago. There was a problem, and then I went to the police. Bro, can you believe they don't even have vehicle? I have to pay from my own money to take them to the scene. The kind of even recording system they have is like they wrote on books. That is the kind of data keeping they keep. So you can go, sometimes the books are lost, the records are not properly intact. And now we have this Human Rights Act. The Human Rights Act, what it says is if you even capture a thief, you have to charge him or you release him within 72 hours?
Yes,
Yeah,
according
that's
to the
seven.
laws right now, yes, it's 72 hours.
Yeah,
But
that's
just
72. Yeah. Yeah.
coming back to what you just said, that the police are not fully equipped, which is true, because I think what the government is doing is they're not taking the security of the Gambia very seriously. Because how can you have an entire police station that doesn't have a vehicle? I mean, or if there is a vehicle, they will tell you they don't have fuel. So we should invest in our security. Security is expensive, but if you invest in security, in the long run, is going to benefit the country. Because I talked about even the foreign investors coming into the country. Because if the Gambia is not secure, the foreign investors are not coming. But let's even move away from the foreign investors. It is our
Our own.
fundamental right as Gambians to live peacefully and securely in our country, because
Exactly.
it is the responsibility of the government to provide that for us. We have a social contract with them wherein we said we're going to put this government in place, and in return, they are going to provide so and so services for us. And the most important service that the government can provide to the Gambians is security, because people have to feel secure in their
Exactly.
in their personhood, in the assets and everything. Because what we've seen is now, like my brother there said, Gam Africa said, if parents are leaving their homes, they have to advise their kids not to even step outside of the house. When I was growing up, I never had to worry about all of those things. We move around, we play around anyhow we want to do. We used to leave our house door open. Our neighbors will come in. If they need salt, they will just open the door, go and pick salt. And then when we come back, they will tell, look, I was here, I took salt from you, I took this from you. We trusted each other. And somebody asked the question, is it that the culture is fading away? It is true,
Yeah.
because
Yes.
before we had a sense of community in the Gambia. You
Mhm.
care
Yes.
about your brother, you care about your neighbors. The safety of your neighbor is your safety. But today we don't even know our next door neighbor. We don't even want to have anything to do with them. So we
Yes.
have to create a community first. Know that security begins with us as individuals, as people. If we are security conscious, then that will help also the police and the government of the Gambia to do their job. They
Yes,
say
that is
when you
true.
see something, say
Exactly.
something. But all these criminals that we have in the Gambia, they are coming from families, they are coming from homes, they live with people, and we know who they are. We know that it is a crime to conceal any criminal activity, or it is a crime to harbor criminals in your premises, in your homes, in your workplaces. These people don't exist in a vacuum.
No.
And
No.
even if they are foreigners, they are aided and abetted by our own Gambian
Own
brothers,
people.
because they cannot come into the Gambia and then immediately want to embark on or carry out these criminal activities. They must have a host, and these hosts are our own Gambian brothers and sisters.
Yes, that
So
is
where
true.
is the love for country then?
Exactly. That
I
is the
think
question, though. That is the question. That is another
Yes,
question. The law of the country,
yes. Where is the love for the country?
for
Because
sure.
what is happening is people just want to take the law into their own hands. We have to understand that crime is a choice. Committing crime is a choice, because most of these people who engage in criminal activities, they know they can weigh what the consequences and the benefits are. They know exactly what is going to happen if they should embark on that criminal activity. So they sit, think, they have the thought process, they have the intention, they have the mens rea already set, that today I'm going to go out, I'm going to go and target so and so, or I'm going to go and target such a business place. You have the mens rea already set up. So therefore, you cannot come and tell me that I did it because of this and that, or I did it because I don't know it, I was under an influence of anything or so.
No,
That could be,
no.
that could be true, but you also knew, like people are talking about the high proliferation of drugs, marijuana, heroin, cocaine,
Yes,
alcohol and
that
other
one
things
I
in the
would like to
Gambia
come in.
is in huge circulation. And the people that we're seeing committing all of these crimes, they are mostly youths, very young people. Some of them are even teens, 14, 15, 16, walking during the night, armed with knives, with other weapons that could be deadly to people. When you encounter them, they want to rob you, you want to resist. They can, stab you and kill you. They can hurt you.
Yeah,
And we say that these kids or youths are the cream of our society. If
no.
we have these
There should be
youths,
they are going to be the future of the country. But my point is, what are the causes? You have to identify the causes, and then we can find solution, because you cannot solve a problem by creating another problem. This is what has been happening all in our lives. Instead of solving a problem, we create more problems. And at the end of the day, things become very complicated. It becomes like what we call it again, nga jahas something, ba nga hamne, at the end of many spaghetti. And then you want to take the spaghettis off bit by bit. You can't solve the problem, because Gambia, let's put it into perspective. Gambia is the smallest country in mainland Africa. It's like you building a house. When you are building a house, the foundation of the house has to be strong and good. If that foundation is not good, I will tell you, brother, anything you put on that house, when the raining season comes, it will collapse. This is how you build a country. We have a population of less than 2 million. Gambia was 20 years ago 1 million. 40 years ago, it was 500,000. Imagine we didn't put the foundation, because when you don't put a foundation, this is what will happen. Like the other brother said, where are we heading? 30 years ago, 40 years ago, this problem was not addressed. A foundation was not built for a development. All we used to talk about is independence. And now it's no more time to talk about independence, about any other thing. It's about development. That is what we need. And development comes with a lot of challenges. They come with crimes. People will demand certain kind of standards. The kind of problems that are going to come, the symptoms that we are seeing, they are symptoms that happen in modern developed societies. Because you find a youth population that have no future. Our education system is broken down. Just look at the education system. Instead of we having a lot of academic education, a lot of university graduates, we don't need that. We need technical. We need people that will go into agriculture, provide food. Imagine you have a master's or PhD, you sit down, you cannot even have food you eat. Imagine you are the kind of roads we have, no proper civil engineers. Imagine the natural resources we have, the River Gambia. The River Gambia, how many people it can provide employment for? Imagine the agricultural sector. And these things, that's why I always say, government has to, the job of a government is to create the environment, to provide security, to protect people's lives and properties. If you are a government and you cannot provide these basic things, then that means you are not good enough. Because any government, look at it in
absolutely.
America, look at it in UK, look at any other government. Before you have to protect the life and properties of your people. These are the job of any government and security. Like we said, Yahya Jammeh, you hate him. I personally don't like what he did in human rights. But if you look at it, there was security. All the thieves, anybody within the wall will know that if you go to Gambia, you commit a crime, bro, you are in a big problem. You're not going to get away. But right now, That is not the case. I'm not blaming. I'm just talking even Gambia in particular. Youths, we are all Gambians. My brothers are there. My cousins are there. My sisters are there. Because they know that, okay, look, if you use drug, if you attack somebody, you stab, you steal, nothing gonna happen. And we have to tell each other the truth. We don't have any other place apart from Gambia. If we see Gambia to shrink into another lawless society, we are going to lose it. Gambia, the reason why tourists come to Gambia is because of the peace. You talk to any tourist, they will tell you Gambia is friendly, people are nice, it's peaceful. We have to cherish that. Once we lose the security, everybody knows what will happen. The negative impression, tourists will be advised, don't go to Gambia. There is a lot of crime rate. There is burglary. There is theft. There is something that we even don't use to get, which is murder. The murder rate is very alarming. It makes people scared. Because I will tell you, in countries like America, UK, and so on, they got forensic science units. If there is a murder, they can easily take DNA tests. They can take your blood samples. They can come to the crime scene, just like what happened in Joshua. If it was in UK or America, when they come within a 1 or 2 days, they could have taken the DNAs. I will tell you, they will not get away with that. Even the walls, their fingerprints and everything. But in Gambia, criminals can get away easily because there is no forensic science units. So that is why I'm saying we are lacking behind. Some of us, we have to help. I am also calling on the diasporans who are living in the West. When it comes to security, let's not keep quiet. Let's try and see how we can work with the police. Let's try how we can work with the immigration. If we can help them in forensic science, in development training, in so many advice, let's do it.
Exactly. There's a question also, like you touch on something which I even want to ask. Like, I too have been thinking about this. Like, how could the diasporans get connected or give help to this security issue? I too have been thinking about this for a long time. How could the diasporans get well or work with these security issues in the Gambia?
I mean, I think as diasporans, what we can do is we can mobilize the resources and then help the police, like in logistics. If they need cars, we can do that. I know there are some Gambian philanthropists who will, from time to time try to, help our police. But also, I think the government of the Gambia should take the lead. I mean, we have very good young men and women. Send these people overseas to go and train, like Gambia Global TV said. We need forensic scientists in the Gambia who can use this modern technologies and knowledge to be able to, I mean, investigate some of these sophisticated crimes, because we don't have a proper lab, DNA lab in the Gambia that somebody can use to investigate crimes, and even like proper investigations to be conducted by the police is always a challenge because the logistics are lacking. There cannot be a crime, instead of you going to the crime scene, forthwith you wait 24 hours later or 48 hours later for you to visit the crime scene, because by the time maybe you get there, the evidence is destroyed or so. And even the way evidence is collected is also another problem, because we don't have the kits, we don't have the tools to make sure that these evidences are collected so as to help in the prosecution of these criminals. And it's a whole lot of things that I think we need to improve on.
Exactly, because like if you check around the diasporans, like me, I've been thinking about this. How could the diasporans get to work with this security issue? Because as a Gambian living outside, you know that you went to pursue a greener pasture, or you went outside for a better education, so that tomorrow you would make sure that you go back to your family and then make use of your those development within your families. But first first of all, you want to make sure that yes, around your family also your family are taking care of all things there. Your family also are having things within them well secured. Everything around them also, everything within them is like, yeah, it's well secured. But like the person who went outside to get a greener pasture is getting information which is like, yeah, the families every day coming across of like, yeah, they are not that much well secured. So the person will be just saying, okay, me right now, do you think what I'm searching is it the exact solution for me to take back for my family, or is it the exact research am I searching for my family? Because as a person outside, you also want to search something which you know that yeah, it will really come to a like it will really come to a line of what is really existing at your home. But the home, what is existing there, each and every day, there's another new strategy of crime, a new way of destruction, which you know like from the person outside, he or she may be saying, okay, so I told some I should be even trying to change on what I'm even studying or what I'm even looking for. Or they may even say, okay, if at all I supposed to be outside for 5 years, let me then just try to be outside them for 10 years. Whilst because what I'm trying to put at home is it was not well secured. So I supposed to add more. So and people outside those that is not their dream. Their dream is to be at a like to go and accomplish what they are searching for 5 years. Within that 5 years, the things they left behind is supposed to be at a secured hand. But like the family at home, they are not well secured, and the things at back is not well secured. So like what kind of solution could this diasporans here also able to do for their family to make sure that also yes, like for example, like nowadays, like young boys who will use this backway and then to go to search for greener pasture. At the end, they hustle through their hustle, they send money, or they even say, okay, they won't even trust their families to send money through their families for their family to build home for them, or to make sure that their family also to make, to do what they want. They take their trust on their friends. At the end, the friends will be doing it for them, but not the way they want. And this may even change their mood, and they said, okay, so my friend have already failed me in the last one. So once their target was only for 5 years, now this time let me just try to move for my family. So all these things is just like an example, like the security. What kind of security could we able to work, or like the outsiders they will be able to do so that yes, the police security, they also then make sure that any crime or any problem at the spot, they'll also be able to get there. Because actually, even in Gambia, like for the fire service, like hearing for the fire service, if they hear fire alarm, they may just come. No, oh, they'll first come. They'll first come. They are first coming. They'll first come and they say, okay, now we didn't have water. So think of if they come and they say they didn't have water, going back and then looking for water and to come back and stop that fire alarm. So what do you think? For like maybe if I told the destruction was only 1% before they, what do you think? How before they come back, the destruction nobody will knows. It is like it's another question. How far the destruction will go again? So this is a question like which you know that the diasporans also. I will be. I was thinking about this. How come the diasporans also supposed to raise on this kind of ways, the way the security will be able to need assistance, like they need something which you know that any crime is in the spot at the spot, they're able to get there within some minutes. And even though if they are there like the first coming people, if they come before they raise some solution, they have already forwarded the solution and they have already forwarded the crime. Sorry, they will already forward the crime for the solution before it will come, whilst the backup will already come. So these are kind of things which that right now it is a question even for the diasporans, because if it is not well secured there, so actually they'll be even like saying, how are we gonna do back? How are we gonna send back? How are they gonna make sure okay they're gonna make more addition for the family? Because the families they are every day complaining like yesterday what the food we kept yesterday, so today we came like a beer loop, like a beer so that means for tomorrow also, that means tomorrow also they're supposed to provide something, whilst maybe all those foods it was not put in a well secure place. So these are kind of question even that father
Yeah.
will be saying.
So, yes, let me come in here. I have a question to ask the audience. Do you
Okay.
think our security personnel are motivated? Could that also be a contributing factor why we're having this issue of rising crime rates in the Gambia? Because we know that it's very important for police to be well paid. They need to be motivated when it comes to promotions and other incentives, trainings and all those kind of things. But we what we have seen so far is even promotion sometimes becomes a problem, and it's not about who deserves it. Sometimes it's just who These police also cannot do their job when they are not trained about modern policing in general.
Exactly.
So I think we can also, that's one problem that I think is affecting us. So what is your take on that? Motivation from paying, trainings and education and other things?
And
Yes.
what like
Okay. You go
okay,
for. Oh,
come
okay.
on.
Do you want me to go?
Yeah,
Yeah.
go. Yeah, yeah. Gambia, yeah, Global TV. Go ahead. Yes.
Yeah. Yes. First thing first, we have to admit that we need these figures. Like I always say, I do like to back my points with figures and statistics to know what is the average salary for a policeman. Right now, I know that in Gambia, for a person to even earn $5,000, that is a miracle. And $5,000, let's break it down. Let's put the breakdown. How much does it cost for a bag of rice? A bag of rice is 1,500. How much does it cost to buy even a gallon or some 5 liters or 10 liters of oil? That is almost 1,000. How much does it cost to buy a bag of sugar? That is also about 1,000. You're talking about almost 4,000. We are not talking about electricity, NAWEC. How much do you spend on NAWEC? You're talking about 1,000 again for a month. Transportation to work, putting food on the table. Because I did this budgeting. When I went to Gambia, I sat one day and I said, how much does a person need to live in a Gambia just for a basic? Bro, to be honest, let's talk. Let's spill the beans. Even $10,000 cannot give you a basic standard of living. So imagine if somebody who is being paid maybe 3,000 a month as a police officer, and he has to pay his rent.
He's out. Okay, I think I might have lost Gambia Halad TV. But just to continue from what he was saying, I think we need to motivate our security personnel. And when we talk about motivation, this is not just limited to the basic salary alone, but we know motivation definitely starts from there, because we have to make sure we get the best brains in our security sectors. We need people who have the knowledge, who have the understanding, who have the wisdom to man some of these very important positions that we have in the country. And the first thing is we have to pay them very well. But this kind of salary that the police are paid in the Gambia cannot sustain them at all. And I think when it comes to the execution of their duties, these are some of the reasons why some of them might be um, lackadaisical about it, or they don't see the need to try and give it their best because they are thinking of providing something to feed their family. So making sure that our police are well paid is one thing, and you cannot also do your job in the absence of knowledge. We need training. This is not just the recruit training. The police have to go through constant yearly annual trainings because we have to understand that crime evolves every year. And for us, for our police to be at par with criminals and organized crime, they have to also be trained about modern police techniques that are emerging every year. But most of the time, what happens in the Gambia is our police, once they go through the training school and then they graduate, they start their job, they hardly get any training. Most of them will serve their entire police career without having a proper training, going overseas to train or so. We know that our police force is very young. We can learn from best practices from other countries. And we should create that bilateral or multilateral agreements wherein we can send our security personnel to go to countries that have a very good policing system to learn from them and then come home and help us in the policing of the Gambia. We also have to provide them with equipment to work because this is also part of motivating them. How can I go to school without a book and a pen? Therefore, I'm not as ready to learn. So the police cannot do their job without having the equipment that they need, the resources that they need. As a government, as a people, it should be a collective responsibility for us to do this. We cannot just point fingers at the government and say the government is not doing this or vice versa. If you are a citizen out there, you have resources to help our police to police the Gambia, do it as a good citizen. This is what the country calls. This is what the country expects from good citizens. So I think, okay, you guys are back.
Exactly. It's every time about this ad blocks.
It's okay.
The ad blocks every time is so many security purposes are supposed to make sure that like PC security and ad blocks are supposed to accept every time, and it is almost like every 1 hour, and I think all these settings are supposed to change it back.
Yeah. So yeah, somebody is saying here organized crime is an unbelievable entity,
Yes.
and that's
Sorry,
true.
guys.
Yeah. Go ahead, brother.
Yes, Gambia Global or me.
Yes. Sorry, guys, for the break. Yeah, I think it was the network.
Okay.
Yeah, I was on a very interesting topic about the police when it
Yes.
comes to motivation, how we can get our police motivated, get them back on the ground, on their boots and on their feet, start patrolling. Because when it comes to policing, you have to understand that we don't have the budget. And I don't think there is any country in the world that has enough money to put enough police officers every corner of the country, the four corners of the country. So that is where it will come to putting certain kind of techniques, certain kind of intelligence, community policing, and getting the police motivated, giving them enough pay. Because like I said, $5,000 is not enough. The minimum amount a police officer with a family of one or two will need is somewhere around $9,000, $10,000 a month. Otherwise, they will be on the high street or on the motorway or the traffic. We all know what they do. I just don't want to use the word. I mean, dañoo nekk foofu di like a Harris.
Yeah.
Understand that? Which I don't want to
Yes.
say. We
I
all know
mean,
that.
look,
In order, to make sure that they get enough food to put on the table, and that
I
brings
mean,
corruption for the police.
yes, yes.
So if
And
we want to motivate, they have to make sure that we have like a community policing. Like you said, we don't have to harbor criminals. We have to help our community, because when we talk about all the problems, we also have to find solutions, because we cannot sit down all year round talking about problems, and we cannot even put one solution on the table.
Exactly.
Yes. So as Gambians now, we have to be like, okay, look, we criticize our government, we make noises, but at the same time, we also have to be part of the solution. Let us try to be part of the solution. How can we help change the situation? Because we are very instrumental. Everybody knows that the Gambian, the diaspora, they have contributed a lot of money in the Gambia. Each and every one of us is feeding more than 5 to 10 people. Let's be honest. Every Gambian in the diaspora, whether you know it or not, you are feeding more than 5 to 10 people in the Gambia. So nobody can come and tell us, look, you guys are not, your point is not important. Fine. But okay, certain institutions like the police, they need, I know it's very difficult to put it into perspective, but they need help when it comes to logistics. The government doesn't have the budget to help them. Otherwise, they will just put a very short-term solution, which is like go to the TV and talk, fight zero crime rate, there is a new mission. It wouldn't even last for 2 months, and everything will die down. So the Gambians all over the world, whether it's logistics, whether it's other kind of help, if it's training, because there are some Gambians who have worked in the security sectors all over the world now. You go to America, you come to the UK, there are Gambian police officers. You go to America, there are Gambians who went into the military. They got all those skills. And it shouldn't go into waste. Because maybe in Europe, they will not need our help. Even an ordinary Gambian will learn a lot just living abroad. That a police officer in 10 years in service wouldn't know. Because if you live in the West, we all know how security is. They are fighting against terrorism. They are fighting about money laundering. They are fighting against drugs. So all these things we can help. We can tell them, look, especially in this day and age, if we can help them with CCTV, just like you go to Westfield area, Mase Selekunda, Mase Birkama, all those areas, they should now have CCTVs. Maybe they might not able, but we can help them with those kind of, modern day fighting techniques.
Just a comment. I don't think the government can afford that, because if they place their priorities right, I mean, we need to have our streets in our cities fully lit. We need sufficient street lights. We need CCTV cameras to make sure that, I mean, potential criminals are deterred. But because we have misplaced priorities, we don't want to invest in areas that we should invest in, and we're busy every day politicking. This is why some of the things that are happening. Because currently, the government that we have in place, their priorities should have been instituting security sector reform across the board. We need judicial sector reform. We need all kinds of reforms. We need new laws. We need the new constitution. We need everything. Because what we're trying to do is we're trying to move away from what had happened in the past and then change for the better. But we
Okay.
are not doing that. It's not just about lack of facilities or resources. I think if we should prioritize things, we will be able to police the Gambia effectively because
And
I mean we
that's
have.
that's a thing. That's a thing I wanna raise. It was like right now it is because our former regime before and within this present regime, there's a different within this thing. It's all about this deportation thing. And before talking about the deportation, I just wanna go a little back. And it was I could remember I was researching something about all this kind of deportation. The time it was like the backward thing was getting very viral. So like people are coming to the Europe. Europeans were getting so many so many issues. How are they going to solve this backward thing? Why these refugees asylum things are getting here? There was a question which was being raised for deportation, deporting people, and they wanna talk up with this AU for to deport massive people. And I could remember from my research, I come across of a speech made by Macky Sall, this the president of Senegal, who said that okay, so there's a problem in Europe, but we should not say that okay, the problem we don't have Africans didn't have a solution, but like the solution which has been raised, we're supposed to come with a concrete solution to it. As they said that they want to deport, and then Macky Sall told them that if this massive deportation occurred from Europe to Africa, it may make something which you know that it may change some other youths, and because it was already been said that so many youths have fled, it may change some other youths to criminality. It may change some other youths from one mind to another mind. And right now, like me, my objection, this is the kind of objection I'm getting right now within this our Gambia. Before our former regime, deportation that time, and within this current regime, it is having a very big difference in it, because right now there are so many deportation happening, and like my mind went back and then clicked, maybe these are the kind of problems right now occurring. There will be some youths who will be just taken back, who you know that right now they go back there. They didn't see there what they want, or which you know that they're gonna able to build on something. And what are they gonna do? They are not gonna wake up in the morning and then go back to sleep with empty stomach. They must
So
make sure they wake up in the morning.
so
They
if I
go
can
back
Yeah,
up.
you are right.
if I can come
Exactly.
in, you were saying that there is a link between deportation and the rise in crime rate. I think you have a very important point there
Yeah,
because we
very
have to
important.
understand that some of these young men and women who left the Gambia, went through the Baghdad, Libya, and get into Italy or Spain. They've been traumatized on their way to Europe. They've seen civil war in Libya. They've seen people die in the desert. They've seen so many things, and they need help. So bringing those people back to the Gambia in a country wherein the unemployment rate is over 40%. They don't have any structures in place to reintegrate these people. And because of the suffering in the country, they'll have no choice. They will resort to crime because they have needs. And when people have needs, they have wants, they cannot satisfy it through the ethical standard way of doing it. What do? People go back to crime just to fulfill those needs. So we as a country also, we have to be careful. We have to make sure we create the conducive environment for our youths to strive, to be able to engage in something. Because it's very sad that you have to go to school, finish high school, go to college or university, and then after graduation you cannot get employed because what they teach us in school is you are only good for employment. They don't teach us to go and create jobs out there. That is not the curricula we have in school. All they want you is to go through the normal procedure, get acquire education, go home and then sit and be useless if no one hires you. So there is a lot of things that we can do as a country to make sure that we create the golden opportunity that the youths need. Because in those days, I mean, even up till now, usually in the Gambia, a typical family will have only one breadwinner, and then everybody will depend on that person, like a parasite. And situations have changed. Life is evolving because of globalization. So many things are happening. And now some of those people who are the sole breadwinners in their families, they can no longer provide for everybody. So people have to find a way of providing for themselves.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So
Exactly.
what is
yeah.
it that we can do as a government, as a people,
Well,
is to create
So
the environment for people to get jobs that they need.
this thing exactly is supposed to
yeah,
be whereby before the government check on their main interests, like for their benefit or for their own pockets, like just getting everything from these Europeans just for their own pocket. Because actually it's just for their own pockets right now. It is
exactly.
all is all politicians they are one. Politicians they are one. Politicians from one politician to another, they are the same. They are just helping each other for each and every one of them to have a big pocket with a big stomach or I'm like kirbu pokal. But in
Exactly.
this case, like the thing is, they're supposed to make sure like as a person who you know that we put a trust in you. We put you there to make sure that yes, you should guide the process we are following. We as a citizen, we are trying to do something which you know that okay, tomorrow if you wake up, we see that okay, this is what we have did yesterday. So you the one we put there, you should make sure that you accomplish your job, you accomplish your requirements, well, your requirements, the duties which brought you up there. So as me, what I'm gonna tell the government actually right now, before they make sure that yes, they try to do something for the youth. The only thing they're gonna do for the youth right now is just to make sure that they create employment or they create companies or they create a places whereby like except youths gonna make sure yes they're gonna find it very easy for them at least to have for their daily breads. If they wake up in the morning, let them not go back to bed with empty bag, with empty pocket, because at least it will be even better each and everyone to go back like at least maybe for $1 or $10 is enough. But you wake up empty, you go back to bed empty. But the government, at least if they create a positions whereby each and every youth, even though yeah, you just finished from your grade 12, from your that grade 12, you're gonna have a position. Because if you can say like you already went up to grade 12, university is something which you know is very hard for Gambians nowadays because everything is getting expensive right now. Everything is really getting expensive. I could not say that time, but nowadays even university is getting hard for families. But even from grade 12, this employment is being created. Each and every youth will able to make sure that okay, because as I say, this life nothing gonna get easy, nothing gonna get easy as far as you are just making sure that yeah, you are pushing harder, because the more pain it be, yes, the more you're gonna earn. The more patient you hold, the more you're gonna go forward. As they say, because the more hope, if you keep on holding on your hope, one day, because they say at the end of the tunnel there's a light. So if at least if there's some opportunities whereby at least there will be at least $10 for a day. Yeah, people who know that they are with patients, it will reduce all this kind of crimes. Maybe at least the patient wants, the patient needs, they'll make sure okay, with our patient, me direct mo rek ma $10 bini. At least buma jema hol sa kale sa $20. So this thing will make it will make a very vital movement for them, because right now with this viral security thing, it's not only for the citizens, it's a problem for them too, because they are the one for them to secure us. They are the one who have been voted for them to secure. So we are not being secured. We are not gonna blame ourselves because we are not being secured. The blame is gonna go to the security panels who have been voted to secure. So for them to go do this, they make sure that they put these security things and then they do their duties. So these opportunities also are being created. They put it there. It's gonna at least reduce some percentage of from the patient ones. They're gonna be there and say, okay, let me just be based on what is right now being provided. But actually, right now nothing is being provided, which there's nothing there which that yes, somebody gonna step in and then say that okay, this thing at least it's gonna hold my patient, even though it is not gonna hold my future, it is not gonna show my future forward, but it's gonna hold my patient. But it is not there. It's not there. So
yeah, you are right. Yeah, I do agree with you on that.
Yeah.
Especially the point you made. You made a very good point about the deportees, linking them to this high crime. We don't have the statistics, but I mean, I can understand, that if somebody goes to Germany or another country like UK, to these Western countries, went through the Middle East and seen it all, these people, when they return back, there should be at least a program that will reintegrate them into the society, and we help them. I'm not just talking about the government. This includes all of us as brothers. Because even if somebody start a business, we have to be buying from each other. We have to bring all these things again. As a Gambian, if a Gambian is doing business, instead of us buying from a Gambian, we will go and buy from another, nationality, like the Mauritanians, like the other ones, the Indian, the Chinese. So these brothers, they will get frustrated. Because most of them, when even they return back. Just the other day I saw in like Watson, Gambia, this brother from somewhere in Germany also start a business, and they sabotage his business, set it on fire. All these things will lead to a crime, because we have to be there, like, let the dollar or the dollars goes among ourselves. We have to be, let's us just bring our minds back together and say, look, from now on, let Gambians support each other. This is the only way we can reduce unemployment. When Gambians start a business, no matter what he is doing, no matter how small the business, let us prioritize them. Let us patronize them.
Patronize them,
will create employment. Employment is not just completed by major, these multinational companies. It's created by this, the middle, small scale companies that you see. In Mase Banjul, Mase Serekunda, Gambians are now going into arts. Gambians are going into this small scale. That is how they make profit. Because if you are a Gambian, you are doing a business, I come and say, Lebalma, Abalma, Mema, Dimbalema. This is the only thing we always do.
Okay.
If Lamadana starts a business, instead of we coming to patronize him, all we do, Lama Bilai, boy, don't have about 25. Lama boy, don't have Dimbali. And then next minute we go to the Albihaj.
Yeah.
The Chinese.
We don't
patronize. We have to find solutions. These are the solutions. We cannot just always be talking about the problems. The solutions that is when somebody start a business, every Gambian, please, let's make it our point of duty. We support our own. This is my point.
Exactly.
Yes.
Like exactly. This is another problem for us also supposed to we're supposed to talk about. Let us I too also want to say this to you, even though like you as a person also who is like ready to show Gambians also what they're supposed to do. This thing also even supposed to be a topic also, like a topic whereby Gambians supposed to patronize their fellow Gambians. Gambians, let them help each other. As we normally say, Jutunaya, Gambians, we normally put each other down. That is really common. Like if we really patronize each other, actually, they normally say, like, you will see a foreman who will start with a plate. From that plate, the tomorrow you will find the foreman then on the table. Then from that table, it go to a big house. That big house, then it would be a magazine. So This kind of things, we
Yes,
Gambians, we
support each other.
patronizing each other. We keep on patronizing each
100%.
other. Yeah, if one brother made it, that means the whole country have made it, the whole nation have made it.
Exactly.
Yeah. So
If you
I
patronize your brother,
yeah I
yeah,
And
think I
jobs, you
think
create
just
jobs.
yeah coming in
mhm,
here, you guys talked about a very important point that to make sure that people are secure in their homes, people must have jobs. We must empower them to be able to create jobs on their own if they are hired by any businesses or by the government, which is very true. But I want to still come back to this issue of security. The rise in security we've started happening, let's say, from 2016, but from 2020 and in 2021, I think it even exploded. So the other aspect that I want to talk about is because when we had the regime change in 2016, we had an impasse, and during that impasse, um, ECOWAS, together with the AU and the UN, sent in the economic forces to the Gambia to come and definitely protect the mandate of the Gambian people, that is the results of the election, to protect it and also to protect, to provide security for us. And we've seen over time the executive branch of the government hasn't done much to create a very good relationship between the presidency and the security forces. We all know that the president is the commander in chief of the armed forces and all other security services in the Gambia. But there is no uh, close relationship. And as such, Gambian security personnel, they don't feel that they are appreciated by their government. They feel like they are not motivated, and it's like our present government decided to mortgage the security of the Gambia in the hands of our sister countries. And we have to be very blunt here. No one can secure the Gambia more than the Gambians themselves. And we have to trust our security personnel to do that duty for us. So, what I want us to discuss also is how is it possible that we are having all these rising crime rates in the Gambia when in fact we have our Gambian security forces? Not only that, but also we have other sister security forces from Senegal. We have them from Nigeria, from Ghana, I think from Togo, and they are all present in the Gambia as we speak. But yet still, security is becoming a constant challenge for Gambians. Safety is becoming a constant challenge for Gambians. People are being raped, people are being killed, people are
mhm,
being robbed. People, so many things are happening. So is it
exactly.
time for us to revisit the security posture in the country right now as we speak? Because what is even happening is we've seen what the Senegalese soldiers are doing in the Gambia. Instead
Exactly.
of helping the citizens of the Gambia, they are antagonizing us. We've just seen recently what happened in the village of Omorta. They came in, it was a pursuit. They followed a car that they believe took some timber from Senegal. And then when they got onto Gambia in Omorta, the Senegalese soldiers or the gendarmerie came in. And then there was a fracas between them and the residents of Omorta. And in the end, they fired some blank shots in the air. We know that
Exactly.
there is a there is an agreement between the Gambia and Senegal, wherein on either side the security forces can pursue any person of interest all the way up to 5 miles. But what we've seen, and I've seen and heard about this recurrences of Senegalese security personnel um, maltreating Gambians, belittling them, I mean, doing whatever they want, and we don't see any response from our government.
So, like, actually, me around this on this topic, I wanna take it on this way. Should we as the citizens first, we're supposed to take it from this way first. We're supposed to think from our minds. from this, like, this security issues, how are we gonna make sure that, okay, we raise a solution for it? First of all, for us, should we first go to the police force, or we go to the drug squad, or we go to anti-crime first? We go to them and we talk with them. We ask them first what are the kind of solution they need on this in this problem occurring. We the citizen going to them first, going to them. We the citizen, we raise ourselves, mobilize ourselves as a group, like with a aim of, like a aim which, yes, it gonna match with their aims, with what they gonna do for us, as we already put them there, as they have been voted. And for we the citizen also, with this aim, we go to them. If at all this is the kind of option we're gonna raise, we go to them, we talk with them, we ask them which kind of solution they need. Or the other way around, should we first raise ourselves and then tell the general government, we tell all of them, like from top to bottom, the general government, we tell all of them, okay, now we the citizens right now, instead of now just raising ourselves the other way around, I mean, we just raise ourselves, we go to anti-crime, or we go to the police, to the security panels themselves, that part. And the other part, or we just raise ourselves as the government, as the citizens, we raise ourselves, we go to the general government and we question them. So which are the solution we want to raise? Which are the things we want to do to solve this kind of things? Because actually, as we say, this country belongs to all of us. I cannot say the country belongs to me alone. The country, if I work it, if I do it, it's gonna benefit all of us. If I put a shop in a country, that means the people around my corners, they're gonna buy those merchandise, they're gonna buy all those things from the shop. That means they're gonna get benefit within it. So we, the citizens, we're supposed to have some options. Should we? Is it a good option just to go and then question only the security panels, or we should mobilize?
I think just to interject in there, I think last year the Gambia police started a new program which is under the initiative of community policing. I had their PRO Lamin Jai the other day saying that effort has been hampered as a result of the COVID, so they could not go around the country and then meet the people and talk to them. Which is true, but I think they could have used the media in the absence of people meeting, gathering together. If they cannot go to the communities, they could have used our radio stations. We have 2 TV stations in the country. They could have embarked on a very rigorous media campaign to sensitize the people as to what their rights are, what their duties are towards helping the police in preventing crime from taking place. Because we have to understand that the police alone cannot do it. It is us citizens who have to be the eyes and the ears for the police. You speak up when you see something happening, and I think it's important for us to have this emergency hotline. We need something like the 911. Is it going to be 311, 411? But we need an emergency hotline wherein somebody whose life is in danger, or somebody who is going through something difficult, can easily call a hotline, and then you get a quick response from the police. But in the absence of engaging the citizens, they will not know their rights as citizens, and they will also not know what their obligations are towards the police. So we have to, open up that dialogue between both sides. And the police, I believe, have to start that, because they are the organ that is mandated to provide security for the people. So it should be coming from the police engaging the communities. If they cannot go to the communities themselves, they should use the media platforms.
So actually, like, for me as a citizen right now, this is, as I was saying, like, previously, I'm just asking myself, this is right now a question to me, which I'm already asking myself, because this current security problem, I'm like just questioning myself, which panel should I be now facing myself to? because I'm not being safe. My family, if they talk to me, they are just telling me every day they are leaving their young ones at home. They are leaving my younger ones at home for them to go outside and then look for something for the family for the day. That means still now the minds are not quiet. The hearts are not in a very calm place. So right now I'm questioning myself right now. It is a big question even. So which area should I be facing? Is it only for the police? I should go ahead and then tell the police, look, right now I'm even leaving my home, but my home is not in a secure place. I'm really scared because actually we already know, right? Like nowadays, now you see that each and everyone, if they're building house, they normally use barbed wares. They normally put some bottles
Dogs.
on them.
They got
Before
dogs.
Gambia before we don't build home like that with barbed wares. Back at days, we normally what do we know? Even what do we like? If we could recall from our forefathers before, they only normally build huts here, and then they have the open lands just to farm. But nowadays, we're supposed to build a big fence for the compound, and then this fence now we normally put their barbed wares as a security. So if now we are building our own security, but the
Yeah.
police whom we voted there, they are
I
not
would
there
like to
for
come
the
in there.
purpose.
You
Okay,
make a
yeah,
very good
yeah. So
point.
allow him to come in here.
Yes, you make a very good point about people, the way they are building now their homes. You know, that
Exactly.
is a shift. That is a change of culture. We are seeing a new modern way of living, which also is going to affect us in the few years to come. People will be so isolated. It's just going to be importing America, UK into Gambia. Because those things are very unbecoming for a Gambian. What we used to know is open home. You know, we used to get big family homes where people will come in and out. That brings that togetherness, that familiarity. You know, this kind of social security that when you are even old, the old people, we don't have to take them to old people's home. Because in one family, you'll find 3 generations living in one compound, big compound. So when you are old, your grandchildren, they are your social security. They were the one who will look after you until you finally pass on. That community bond, that where, you come, people sit down, non-attire, familiarity, all these things is going to be wiped out. Because the new settlement that is being built, you go to this Senegambia area, this Brufut, it's just westernized. All the kids, they are locked indoors. They are playing games. You have your dogs. Neighbor will not come and visit. After 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, you don't see nobody around the area. So, because Gambia is a sovereign country, what I'm trying to say is the other countries like Senegal and others, they should not interfere with our domestic issues. But if you look at it, what happened? What necessitated those things for Senegalese forces or Nigerians, all of them to come? There was a standoff during the elections when Yahya Jammeh was there. So because Yahya Jammeh refused that he is not going to leave. And they came in. So when they came in, there should have been a security reform. It's almost 5 years. Our police officers, our security service should have been trained, but they lose 5 years. Just like I said, that is why politicians, I don't take their words for it. I never in my life trust politicians. So when that happened, the same thing happened in 1981. If you read the history, Gambia formed a confederation. I'm not saying Gambia should isolate with Senegal. Senegal should not come with Gambia. We shouldn't work. But the two countries, okay, they are inseparable. But Gambia is a sovereign nation. We formed a confederation in 1981. That didn't work because of the politicians. One of them said, I want to be the leader every time. The other one said, no. So the Senegalese forces, if they enter Gambia, I don't know what intelligence they get. But I know there is this dodgy business that is going on, which is log trading in the forest. These Chinese, they come to buy these rosewoods, mahogany, malinas. They put everything and ship it to China. So Gambia has this agreement between Senegal and Gambia that anytime, because I look at our forest, Gambia is not green again like it used to be green. This ecosystem is going.
Yeah, I
All
mean,
these things is part of a crime.
yeah, just
It's
to
the crime.
interject, yeah, just to
Yeah,
interject there, I think what is happening is I don't think Gambians are saying like we don't want the Senegalese security forces in our country, but I mean, what they're doing is I don't think they are mostly just protecting the interests of Senegal. That's it. Because
exactly. 100%.
I mean, we knew there was an incident around Basse wherein the forestry personnel came into the Gambia, shot somebody in the Gambia in a foreign land by foreign security forces. The encounters that happens, between them and the Gambians are always ugly. What we are saying is they would have never done such thing to their own Senegalese citizens in Senegal. I mean,
I
Gambia
agree.
has laws. If you are executing your duty and somebody breaks the law, let's follow the rules. But it cannot just be that because you carrying the gun and you think you can do whatever you want and then nothing comes out of it. Because I think some of them are, operating with impunity.
Exactly. That is
So
100% I
for
do.
me personally, that is my concern because Gambians are talking. I mean,
Of
even when you
course.
meet them, at the checkpoints, sometimes the way they talk to you, the way they react to you is rude. Our
Yeah,
drivers are complaining that they find it very difficult to go about their business because of
Exactly.
these security checkpoints. Senegal is not the only forces in the
in
Gambia.
the Gambia.
We have Nigerians, we have Ghanaians, but we're not getting reports from them like that. So I think there has been a shift in
Yeah.
what the Gambia government should be doing. Because right now, for me, I think the security of the country should be 100% in charge of the security personnel of the Gambia. Internal security has never been given to the military anywhere, unless on the emergency cases. It is the sole responsibility of the police to do that. Then why are we having military checkpoints everywhere? We don't live in a military state. It's not a
Exactly.
police state. It should be the police who are manning our streets. And if need be, like right now, we are having rising crime rates, and the president the other day came out that he is going to have an emergency declaration wherein he's going to use the national guards to help the police in policing the country. We understand that they can have a task force, a joint task force to conduct nightly patrols in areas that are prone to crime. That is something we
Exactly.
should do, but we cannot allow, I mean, people who are supposed to be in the Gambia to keep the peace. They are
Yeah.
peacekeepers.
They
They
are
are not there to
peacekeepers.
come and
Yeah.
hurt Gambian
Not
citizens. That
police.
shouldn't be their
Yeah.
responsibility.
Mhm.
But that is not what is happening. The other day, I think, was it on Gam something, I saw the list of incidents that happened in the Gambia under the hands of the Senegalese gendarmerie or their soldiers.
Mhm.
It's not right. It shouldn't be done.
I
So
agree.
I think our government should take our security very importantly because even there has been an agreement wherein I think after next year, after the election, we will be having other sister security services coming to the Gambia, providing policing for us. Why are we allowing that? We have Gambians who are capable. People are graduating from universities. We have to understand that our security sectors has been the biggest employer in the country under Yaya Jammeh.
You cannot
Every year,
outsource. Yeah.
they've been hiring hundreds of Gambians into the police, into the paramilitary, into the army, immigration, the navy, and
Marine
everything.
unit.
And for now,
Yeah.
somebody told me for the past 5 years there hasn't been any recruitment in under any of these sister security services. So that means that
Well,
the opportunity, that job opportunity that it can be created under this sector is no more there for Gambians, and that could also contribute to the rising crime rates because there is a link between poverty and lack of jobs to crime. So Gambia government has to think. I think the
Yes. Yes.
economic has done a great job. Gambia is peaceful. I think it is time for them to pack their boots.
Yeah, we
But it
understand.
seemed like the presidency has
Yes.
a different agenda when it comes to that. He is not looking at the overall interest of the Gambia, but looking at his own personal interest in trying to secure his position as the president of the Gambia.
No, his own safety. Right
Exactly.
Yes,
now, he's the safest person living in the country
yes,
Exactly.
because he knows that
and
he has enough security. But the
but
Gambian people are
don't.
not. Yeah. So what I am trying to say here is that the Senegalese forces are on a peacekeeping mission. Peacekeeping
Mm-hmm.
mission is different from security. We have to
Yes,
make that clear, and the government have to make that clear. That is
yes,
why people have been insisting on, look, give security reform. You have to start it. But right now they waste 5 years. 5 years of unnecessary propaganda. They couldn't do anything. And what happening is that these people they are being paid. The amount of
Mm-hmm.
money they are paying to these security forces is like 10 times more than what they're paying to Gambian security forces. This is one of the
Exactly.
things that is demotivating our forces. This is why they look down upon our own Gambians
yeah,
because
but
they know that these people they are not being
yeah,
paid.
yeah, but just a point of correction. These people are not paid by the government of the Gambia.
No,
The
that's what I'm
often,
saying. No, they are not
yeah,
paid by the Gambia
yes,
government, but the amount of money they are earning compared to what the Gambians are earning, because they are being funded. I think it's either the ECOWAS or EU. So you can imagine these people, they're being paid in dollars or maybe in pounds.
Mm-hmm.
Unlike our Gambian brothers who are being paid in dollars, it's maybe $4,000, $3,000. So you can understand even the attitude, number one, the moralization which will go with that. You know, we were talking about motivation and all these things. Motivation comes in
Mm-hmm.
different forms. It's not just the salary you earn. The salary you earn, you know that it's
For
basics. You're
sure.
gonna every month you will expect it. But what are the other
Yeah.
benefits that comes with it? Do you have any other benefits? Insurance, pay rise, bonus, you know, you have loans, housing benefits. Because you cannot be in the service for 30, 40 years. You cannot even have a roof
yes.
over your head.
That's true, and that's a huge
Yeah,
challenge, and I think this
that's
is
my
why
point.
right now, even because there are many people who are leaving the security services once their term comes to an end, they don't want to extend it any longer, and for the fact that there hasn't been any recruitments for the past few years, I mean, there is a shortage of personnel when it comes to securing the country because we need more people to join the police force. We need more people to join the military. Although in some quarters, people will say, I mean, currently the number of soldiers that we have has surpassed what we need to secure the Gambia because of the size and everything. But I mean, if we think that is the case, then why not we hire more and more people in the police force? Because we need men and women in that position. Because right now, if there should be anything in the country, I mean, we lack the personnel to provide security because of the low numbers. So there is a lot to do. But I'm going to give both of you 2 minutes to wrap up. I want to keep this exactly on the 2 hours. We've been here for some time now, and perhaps you can go.
I should come first because
Yeah,
I came first.
yeah,
I came
Gamma.
first, so I should go first again. So
Yes,
first
Yes,
come
yes,
first
God,
serve.
I'll give you that benefit. Definitely,
yeah,
Yeah, thank you,
definitely.
bro. Thank you.
yeah.
Thank
Thank you,
you,
bro.
yeah, brother.
Yeah.
Yeah, so actually, so like me, my wrap up, it may be like something outside the box, like, but it was something we have already also touched here. It's about our culture. Let us touch our culture. Let us go back to our culture. As I was saying, now we are building homes with bamboo wares. Before, we normally have homes with huts, with, yeah, and all these homes at the other part, it was farming. People were open. So these are kind of things which I want to say. Let us go back to our culture. Even our culture, it was well secured. Going back to our culture, even that means we are even earning our security back. Europeans will respect us. Americans, white people will respect black people because we are holding ours. That means we get our own, we secure ourselves. let us try and then do this in our Gambia also too.
All right.
We
Thank
go back
you.
to our culture.
Thank you very, very much
Yes.
for that concluding remarks, and I appreciate you coming. You're the first person
Okay.
here to join the live. Thank you very much, Gam Africa. And Gambia Hala
Yeah.
TV, you can, yes.
Yes. I would like to thank you, Lama, and then thank Gam Africa, and thank your listeners. And then I would like to conclude with this. Let us remember, you cannot solve a problem by creating another problem. Gambia is the only place we have, is our homeland. As Gambians, let us all put our hands together and make sure Gambia become the smiling coast of Africa. And in order for that to happen, the community has to help. This is not just the government. I am someone who always keep bashing the government. But like we said here, it is the community that harbor criminals. It is the community that harbors this, help the police. The police officers are our brothers. They are our uncles. They are our fathers, some of our sisters. We have to work with them. We have to give them intelligence. If the community is safe, the future generations will save. And also, let's try in our culture, we teach honesty, truthfulness, and we avoid greed. Because these are the things that affect society. Because the children that are at the home, they are going to be the future leaders. If we don't teach them honesty, hard work, discipline, telling the truth, they are the ones who are going to be police officers. They are the ones who are going to be criminals. They are the ones who are going to work in this become a president, ministers. And these values, if they don't have it, no matter how much education you have, no matter how much wealth you have, you will sell the country. You will take the country down the river and sell it. Criminals will come. So let's keep our values, which is honesty, integrity, respect for elders, and then keep togetherness. As a Gambian, we help each other. Buy from Gambia. Buy from your brothers. Support each other. Buy our own. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Gambia Global TV. I think your concluding remarks is food for thought. That is loaded. There is a lot that people can learn from that. And I also want to seize this opportunity to thank everybody who has joined the live. Until I come your way another time, thank you guys for watching and continue to watch. I've seen Papa Cheesy here, Golden Dame, Eritrea, Fatim Job, Black Magic, and a host of other people. I have Tris Collier, Humphrey Smith, Rahman Bojang. I want to thank all of you for joining the live, and I'll see you soon on another side again. Thank you, and may you be blessed. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and continue watching the Halad Africa show as we continue bringing you exciting issues, especially the new series that I have, Get to Know the Gambia. And there is a video that I'm going to upload tomorrow about the Wolof ethnic group. Please watch out for that video. It's very educative, and we will continue doing the best that we can do. Peace out.